Today, I'm going to talk about self-care, and I know that there's been a ton written about self-care out there, and it's a big buzzword. But to be honest, some of the more popular takes on self-care, such as spa days and shopping sprees, just don't sound all that nourishing to me, especially when you're feeling really tired and overwhelmed. So in this video, I'm going to give you 8 self-care tips to help you get through the school year. Hi everyone, my name is Paula Cristina Azevedo and I'm the founder of The Meditating Teacher, where I teach and support educators, parents, and leaders just like you about mindfulness practices so we can be a bit more present and compassionate for the kids and teens in our lives. So let's get right into the topic of self-care. But before we do, be sure to stick around because I have a special gift for you that's going to help you with your self-care journey. All right, so the first tip I'm going to give you is going to sound pretty obvious, but it's one that's often overlooked. And the first tip is sleep. Be sure to get enough sleep. Now, everyone's a little bit different, so make sure that you know what's right for your body and the amount of sleep that you need. Another thing that's important isn't just the quantity of sleep, but the quality of sleep. And one thing that I like to do is to kind of prepare myself for sleep to ensure that my quality of sleep is going to be really good. So the way I do that is an hour or two before my bedtime, I like to slow down a little bit and turn down all of the lights around the house, dim my devices a little bit more, just so I don't have a ton of bright light coming towards me as I'm about to go to bed. I also like to reduce any kind of stimulants, so I try to avoid heavy meals at night and any kind of caffeinated beverage or even alcohol. So I really limit the amount of news I read, social media, or kind of action-packed videos or shows. So try to limit the amount of stimulants that you're going to have in the evening right before bed. The second tip I have for you is nutrition. Remember, whatever you put in your body is going to nourish you for the day. So be sure to be mindful of what you're eating and drinking throughout the day. Now, I know as teachers and as parents and leaders, we tend to be very busy and often we either forget or just don't have time to eat. But it's really important to have some healthy snacks ready on the go. So just hide some in your desk or in your purse or your bag, so you have them available for you throughout the day. And you can even have some healthy snacks for your students too. Also, don't forget to hydrate. Drink enough water. It's so important. The next self-care tip is all about movement. Be sure that throughout the week, you are moving your body. It is so important to get enough exercise in the week. Movement helps your body keep on going, actually. So do anything that really brings you joy. Anything from walking the dog, doing some yoga, maybe going to a Zumba class, whatever lights your day. Do it, all right? It's gonna help you, I promise. The fourth self-care tip is to be creative. Now, it doesn't have to be anything crazy and extravagant. It can be something as simple as knitting and sewing, maybe writing some poetry, whatever makes you joyful. And if you don't have a creative outlet yet, here's your opportunity to learn something that you've always been interested in. So if you've wanted to learn how to bake or cook, or maybe you wanted to paint, this is your opportunity to learn a new skill. All right, the fifth tip is to take a moment to pause. Now, I know many of you are asking yourselves, how can I do it all in my personal and professional life and take a moment to breathe and exercise and sleep and be creative? I mean, come on, how can I do this all without going crazy? Well, the thing is, you don't have to do it all, right? There are going to be moments where you just need to stop. And there are going to be definitely moments where you just need to stop working. There is always something to do, I promise you. There's always another lesson to write. There's always another email to write and read and respond to. There's always something to grade. There's always something to do. And at some point, you just have to say, you know what? Enough is enough. And call it a day. It's going to be there tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Which leads me to my sixth point, which is to have boundaries. These boundaries should be very simple and they should be right for you and your lifestyle. An easy one to do is have a boundary around emails. So, for example, maybe you don't want to respond to emails after 5 because you want to spend time with your family. That's awesome. So, just set that as a boundary and keep it. Don't go back on it because then people are going to say, she's wishy-washy on her boundary. Also, be very clear on that boundary. Let people know. You can let your students know, their parents, and even your colleagues know, hey, I don't respond to emails after 5. And people tend to respect those boundaries. Now, if someone is judging you about your boundary, you know what? Ignore it. Let them go. They have their own boundaries, and that's okay. Everyone has different boundaries. Just stick with yours and what works for you. All right, let's move on to the 7th tip, which is to have a support team around you. Every educator, parent, leader, counselor needs a support team, a group of people that you trust and love and respect, that you can talk to about pretty much anything. And they're going to give you some valuable tips and experiences and knowledge that you didn't have before. These are a group of people that are going to support you and be positive about what you're doing. So find your tribe, find your team of support that's going to guide you. This is especially important for new teachers. Make sure you surround yourself with people that you respect and that you trust to guide you along your first couple of years of teaching. The 8th tip is to incorporate mindfulness and meditation practices. This is so important. Mindfulness reminds us to pause, to slow down, to be present in this moment and not think about or worry about the past or the future, and to be really compassionate with ourselves and others. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about mindfulness and learning how to incorporate it into your own life, I have a new course out there called 30 Days of Mindful Moments. I've linked the information down below in the description box, so be sure to check it out if you're interested. All right, before I leave, I want to make sure that I give you that special gift that I talked about earlier in this video, and that is a stay-at-home retreat package. Now, throughout the year, I go on day-long retreats, and they are so nourishing. They really do replenish me in ways that many other things don't. It deepens my mindfulness practice, and it gives me a day to myself in silence. It's awesome. Now, I know that not everyone can go on a retreat, so I have created a stay-at-home retreat package which describes ways to create a retreat at home, examples, and resources to support you in your practice. If you'd like that resource, go ahead to my website, themeditatingteacher.com, and you will find that resources free for you to take. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, self-care is essential. It's really important for those of us who are caregivers. So give yourself the gift of self-care so you can go out in the world in a more present and compassionate way. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye for now.